Hello there, this is Melek and welcome to episode 45 of my The Wandering Village playthrough. And with the ever adorable Onbu. Hello Onbu. Yeesh. I've been busy, actually. A nerdy confession. You know, I've been on and off through the series, been trying to pondering Onbu's nature, biology, whatever you want to call it. I've been doing a little bit of work, and I've been writing documentation and doing screenshots and finding out where organs might be and stuff like that. You know when you start something and you're just kind of like idle curiosity, and then you really actually start getting into it. It's been one of those moments. You just double check where the hell we are and whether we need decisions made or people sent out. Oh no, we're just about, there we go. We are always in need of sand. Is that sand? There's something there, but I can't quite click on it. I bet that's sand. I am sad. I'm disappointed that I cannot quite click on the sand. Probable sand. Let's just go to this shrine. Not that we really need the knowledge, but we might as well do it. Oh, there's sand there. Bugger. Well, potentially sand. It's a desert island. I don't know what the percentage probability of getting sand is. Why is sand so bloody difficult? I swear, there must be an easy way of getting sand. Look at you, Onbu. Yes! Swimmy, swimmy. So naturally buoyant. Look how happy they look! Ah. Maybe I'm anthropomorphizing, but, you know, I think Onbu looks... Oh, hang on, did I get a number wrong? Are there 4 digits per foot? Oh no, I think I did an incorrect thing in my notes. Little stingrays. I think Onbu may have 4 digits per foot. It's difficult because of the water, but of course because of the water it allows us to see them a bit better. I think that's 4 digits. I need to update my documentation. I remembered wrong. Okay, there we go. Yeah. 24 toes. That's how many you have. Assuming your left-hand side is the same as your right-hand side, and you're not, like, missing a toe or something, like you're missing the tip of a horn. I'm gonna call them horns. They kind of look like they're protruding in a way that would suggest internal growth. Like, all the other rocky protrusions on Onbu's body just kind of stick out of the skin, the flesh, the meat, whatever you want to call it. Onbu is just so happy right now. Look at the way it's swinging the head backwards and forwards. Swingy, swingy, swingy. But yeah, it looks like the horns protrude in a different way. They've got that kind of base to them. But they must be horns, or at least I'm assuming they're horns and not antler type things. Because, you know, the main difference is horns, you grow them as part of your skeleton, and then they're there to stay, and if they break, they break. You know, tough shit. They don't grow back. Whereas antlers are sort of shed periodically. Every year on Earth for deer and other, well, those that do shed their antlers. Unlike female reindeer, they don't shed, or there's something like that where there are some female deer that never shed their antlers. They just kind of grow them and then keep them. I don't know. Either way, the point is, it could be based on Onbu's ridiculous biology. Let me just take a little bit more. So that's 4.2 while swimming. Let me just put that down there. I didn't think there was a significant increase in heart rate. But it looks like 4.2 is a casual swim. 4.2 while swimming. Because it's about 3 while walking, so it does look like swimming is a little bit more of an effort, which is fine, but it's obviously still naturally buoyant somehow. I think the inside of Onbu must be mostly hydrogen or something. I don't know. Cute either way. So, let's have a little look what we're looking at. Well, obviously we want to do the desert island thing. We've got 2 sleepy spots, but we could take the south path into more water. Do I have the whole, nope, wrong buttons. Come on, do the buttons. I kind of feel like we don't need kelp now. What we need is fish. I think more fisheries would actually be... Oh, bear in mind, I did actually see that I had built another another aqua farm here, but I hadn't assigned any fields to it, so I just set it to disassemble, and you can see the remains of it there. So when I built that one there, I mean, this is a much better place for it, way better. But yeah, here was, there was one here, and it just wasn't a very good one, because I hadn't actually set it up at all. Right, let's get that desert island searched. We bought 15 wood from that. Okay. Where's a shipwreck? I guess that makes sort of sense. Off they go. I'm actually happy to stay in the water as long as there are sleepy spots. So if we go south path, I think south path is my current decision. Get to the sleepy spot, make sure that Onbu takes a good long rest, and then we'll carry on the swim. These ocean areas don't seem to be especially common. Completely the wrong word there. They don't seem to be especially large. So it may very well be that, yeah, we're not going to be in the water for very long. Still, nice sleepy spot. We like a sleepy spot. You've got a little bit of poison in your body, buddy. Buddy. So anyway, while we're sort of chilling, because we're kind of chilling, I'm gonna show you what I've been working on. So yeah, so what I've been working on. So I took some screenshots of Onbu's back. It's not very good because the perspective. Like, let me show you. So as you're moving around, the angles of the roads and all the perspective changes. So the things at the top are slightly different, but so they don't line up completely well. But it's close enough. And then I got all the different buildings, like the injector, the blood extractor, the pump, the bioelectric, all of those things. And I tried to and I basically did screenshots as to roughly where they can go. Buildings get in the way of that, though. Like, where there's a building, it's not always obvious to tell whether or not that is a valid location for the new building or not. So these are not 100% accurate. But there are 4 locations that I mapped out. So here, there's actually 2 here. What am I doing here for? You can't see that mouse pointer. So the red, top right, like if I do that, there we go. Oh, so if I move pointer over there we go. Hang on, let me, scavenging party is ready. Let's just do the scavenging party quickly. I need to have that fade in and out. I think that'd be nice. So let's just waste some time. Fade, and then hide transition will also be a fade. There we go. Oh, you see, I kind of want to know what the parasites are like. But I kind of feel cruel just for science finding these things out. But science. I'm still going to go south, because to be honest, we don't need the sleeping spot, so I would literally be infecting Onbu for no reason whatsoever. No reason whatsoever, and I feel that would be just unnecessarily cruel, you know? And yes, I know it's a computer game. But let's go to the fort and send some people there. So anyway. So what was I doing? Look, that fades in. So basically, yeah. So this area is actually 2 areas. So it's actually a red and a magenta area. Technically, they should be green, really. But this is the location where the blood extractor and the drug injector can be placed. And as you can see, well, as you can see if I do this, you can see that I've got an injector in that location. So that's basically roughly that location there. Literally there. So it looks like we do inject the drug directly into Onbu's heart. And the important thing is, Onbu's heart, singular. It does actually explain in some of the information about specifically the brain. What am I doing? Raw resources. Deep quarry, blah, 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 blah. Blood extractor. Extracts blood from Onbu's heart, singular, from every heartbeat. So basically, it confirms what I'd already assumed, that Onbu only has one heart. That's fine. So we know that that Onbu has a very big heart, as you can see. Slightly on the left of center, near the top. Quite high up, if you think about it. But, again, it's hard to picture. If you picture sort of there and then track it down, there's obviously a lot of Onbu's living parts that that extend, that aren't part of the big rock that's on its back. So yeah, a scavenging party again. Let's just do that then. Okay. Oh. So anyway, so it's clear that we are injecting the drugs directly into Onbu's heart, and Onbu only has one heart, very big heart. The next area, this blue area, this is where the feeding pump can go. So again, we're going to assume that that is the stomach. And I think if we actually have a little look at the, that's the Onbu interactions, so that's no good. And if we actually have a little look at Onbu related things, the food pump, the feeding pump, doesn't actually say that it goes into the stomach. Doesn't actually say stomach, but I would say that it's probably it's a fairly safe bet, right? That the that is the stomach, and yeah, job done. It makes sense. It makes sense. Why would you do the feeding pump anywhere else? Here is the gallbladder. So if you get in the bile pump, that is where the gallbladder is. Now there is one other thing that you can, and that's the deep quarry. Now the deep quarry is basically a big long line all the way down the middle of poor old Onbu. It's like kind of like the middle third of the entire length. Now why it's only the middle, I don't know. Does that mean that there's more raw resources available on the middle of Onbu's body? Or does it mean that there's that the quarry spreads out, you know, like the roots of a tree? I think we've already had this conversation. So I'm not 100% sure why that would be, but I don't think we can discern too much. I think I'm already happy. Bleep bleep. I'm already quite happy with the whole what you call it, the thing, the diagram as it is. So yeah, that's been my work recently. It's not perfect, but it's close enough, and it does confirm a couple of things. But I've also gone into doing a little bit of a document, which is harder for me to share because of the layout. I haven't done anything for OBS to show the contents of a document. But basically, it's an Onbu anatomy document. It's only like 1.5 pages. It's not like paragraphs and paragraphs. So general observations, external. So hexapod, 6 legs, 4 digits per foot. No obvious sexual dimorphism, because it seems like Onbu is always referred to as a they, though that could also be a thing that we do, because we just don't know. But it doesn't seem like there's nothing obvious, but we only know the one big Onbu, so we've not really got much to compare. So there's no obvious way of us knowing. For all we know, females could have 6 legs and males could have 4. You know what I mean? There could be massive differences in the dimorphism of Onbus, but we're not too familiar with it. But it certainly seems that there's no obvious either way. Sort of earthy, mossy appearance, brown vine-like growth hanging from the tail to chin, rocky growth on back, and smaller nodules around the body. So that's obvious. Horn-like growth from head, one broken, shows no sign of regrowth. So I was saying that it could be that Onbu having such a slow metabolism, it might be that they are antler-type growths that do get shed periodically, but they might get shed every 50 years. You know what I mean? We don't really know for certain. So yeah, we're not 100% sure of that. I think, now that I think more about it, they do show signs of having grown out of the body after it had already grown over the flesh, whereas all the other little rocky bumps don't have that kind of like round ridge at the bottom. So it does suggest that these either have gotten bigger throughout Onbu's life, proportion to Onbu's body, or have grew after Onbu had already gotten to a certain stage of development. I'm not 100% sure, but that's a suggestion, I would say. A possibility. Oh, we've got a whirlpool. We've got more shipwrecks, we've got poison forests, we've got a dune. And they've got another dune there, but we've got nobody available to harvest the dune. That's fine. We'll have to live. That whirlpool is looking a little bit sus. Long neck, long, thick tail, horn-like growths. Here, we've already done that. Onbu also has eyes, teeth, tongue, and nostrils. So it's if you have a little look at Onbu's head, there's definitely nostrils. So that might be some kind of superficial thing. It may just be a patterning. It may be a place where that whirlpool's getting a bit close. What will the whirlpool actually do to us? A lot of energy. And we're okay. We're about to get to a sleepy spot. We're fine. And then obviously we've got the thing we observed before. These little spikes that are clearly a greater part of Onbu's body, because if you cut them down, it hurts Onbu. Or it certainly reduces Onbu's trust, which suggests that it's something that Onbu can feel, and that it's not a good thing. So they are obviously very different from the overall platform that Onbu has on its back. So yeah, I think we postulated they could be anchors, like something that's growing out of Onbu that's going through this rock, keeping the rock in place. Who knows? Maybe they're part of the reason why stones and things keep on appearing on the surface. I don't know. Who knows? It's a quandary. Behavior. Enjoys petting, lolls when happy, is receptive to pain, so does feel pain. There's definitely sort of biology there. Develops long-term relationship with the village, moods and trust levels. Yes, Onbu knows we're here, obviously, and definitely can remember that we've been nice or nasty. Can follow basic instructions as long as it's in the right mood. You know, actually some relatively straightforward things, you know. So, you know, you've got all of the commands that we can tell Onbu to do, and as long as Onbu is willing, and is in a good mood, as it were, trusting of us, we'll actually do these things. So, you know, these are basic kind of dog level of things. It's not like they're complicated. We're not asking them to wash the car or anything. But yeah, definitely interesting. We got any other dunes? I'm just gonna pause it. There's a mine. Mine. I just can't help doing that Gimli thing. Okay, the mine might be the best choice because we're gonna get closer to that desert island, and then we can harvest it when we do. Right, Onbu. We're going to carry on with our debate on your anatomy once we've confirmed. Because you do actually have the viney things on your legs as well. They're not just tail to chin. Yeah, because Onbu's sleepies. 3.9 is the heart rate here. Now, are you going to sleep yourself? I assume you will. You look moderately snoozy. I mean, there's a definite sort of slowdown here. Yeah, buddy. Yeah. Get ready. Get ready. Yawning implies... No, that actually... Yawning does actually prove something, really. That does... Because yawning is very much a lung... It's a respiratory thing. God, I want to yawn now. So that would suggest that Onbu definitely does... You know, you've got snoring, you've got yawning, all of these things... do, you know, definitely confirm there are lungs in there somewhere. Let's make a little note. Snores. Yawns. There's definitely a breathing thing. Like, there's definitely that kind of like rising and falling of body suggesting lungs. I would say that's a very strong suggestion. Lung stroke lungs. Probably lungs. Onbu seems to be... there's a name for a creature that is mirrored. Like we are, like most animals have a mirrored appearance. Like you have a left side and a right side that are basically the same. So anyway, yes. Anticipates being fed, licks lips. When we're using the feeding trebuchet, Onbu's kind of aware that that's about to happen and anticipates that. So, you know, it's learning behaviors like that. Vocalizations are very deep and simple because we're not really hearing a language going on. Requires sleep, yawns when tired. Snores, yawns, rising, falling, suggestion of lungs. Cannot stay still while awake for very long, which was an interesting thing because you can only keep Onbu still for so long while awake. Like sleeping, obviously he's not going anywhere. Well, they're not going anywhere. But when you're trying to like, oh no, there's a big nasty thing ahead, but let's wait for it to pass. There's only so long Onbu will stay still before they just starts walking and ignores your commands. So there's definitely some kind of instinctive need to travel or something. I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but there's something. Send party to that quarry. Okay, so digestive system, consumption. Mushrooms, that's a natural primary food source. Onbu noms the mushrooms. Fresh fish as well, because the odd time we see feeding spots, it is basically just big shoals of fish. Here comes the trader, that Onbu will eat. So again, that's a natural food that Onbu just eats. Oh, that was quick. That feels really, really quick. Wakey wakey. Eggs and bakey. There definitely seems to be a skeletal structure in there as well. That seems like an obvious thing. But like, the joints are definitely there. You'd have to have a very strong internal skeleton to carry all this weight, in fairness. Let's have a little look at our trader dude. Please have lots of sand and glass. No. Salt. We do not need salt. We don't need compost either. We don't really need fish. Do we need anything? Tomatoes. I'll have all of your tomatoes. Yeah. Berries. We need more berries. Water's kind of irrelevant. Oh, it's not really that irrelevant. How much wood do we have? I need to check that. Yeah, I need to check that. I need to check to see how much water we've got, because we might not have very much. Let's get some of this flour sold. Forget the knowledge this time round. Really couldn't care less. Let's pause it for a second while I have a little look at our water situation. We've got lots of water and salt water. Okay. Yeah, it's a bit... Yeah. We probably need some more air wells, I guess. Yeah, it's just this reduced speed, but more air wells is probably a good idea. They're not going to be that useful, excuse me, in certain conditions, but I kind of feel like it's a good idea to have at least a couple more. The evaporator, I can't put any more people in the evaporator. Why is Onbu blood an option? Hang on. Oh, we can evaporate blood to make water. That's an interesting bit of biology, I guess. Huh. Super weird, but interesting. I also want to build another evaporator. Kind of feel like that's a good idea. I've kind of half given up trying to figure out where things actually are. Like, I know it's not difficult. I do want to cut down the odd spike, but I really don't want to cut down any spikes. You know what I'm saying? There's just some times when it's just like there isn't a space for something and it's a spike's the only thing in the way. But obviously that's rude. I'm not going to do it. Let's put one back here. Oh god. I can just get that there because they can walk between buildings. It's not a big deal. It's a shame that all the water's kind of here though. Like I've put this to any kind of water there. Moving to evaporator. I think the evaporator should be okay for now. I mean, in many ways, we could just set up another seawater collector. Though, to be honest, it's the evaporator that's the bottleneck at this point. I'm going to put an evaporator there and just see what happens. Okay. So, yeah. So, kelp. Kelp is something that I don't think Onbu eats naturally, but definitely will eat and is nutritious because we use kelp to make the filling food. So kelp is something that Onbu can digest and benefit from, but wouldn't naturally eat it. And finally, people. Onbu apparently can eat people. I actually don't know what percentage of nourishment that humans give Onbu. At some point there will be a noble sacrifice. Because I also want to see what that weird cult mechanic's all about. We've got the knowledge to be able to calm the cult down, which again is what I assume will be the effect. But yeah, it's yeah. Excretion. So yeah. Onbu digests food, produces dung, and the dung behaves like normal animal dung. It can be used as fuel or fertilizer, so it's obvious that the Onbu's digestive biology is basically the same as a normal animal. There doesn't seem to be any, like, super weird stuff. So medicine, oral medicine, laxatives. They require our herbs. Constipator requires rocks. So, Onbu can be tricked also into eating rocks when it's when they look like mushrooms. So Onbu's not like a super genius or anything like that. Healing drugs, oral drugs, heal shrooms. Or we can do herbs and kelp. Another example of kelp being used when it's not necessarily a natural part of Onbu's nutrition. And the antitoxin is heal shrooms or herbs. Again, herbs, because we ourselves use herbs for medicine, and we can also use herbs for Onbu's medicine. Again, it's mirroring that Onbu is 100% a creature, a living biological creature very similar to us. You know, external appearances aside. Good, yeah, we can leave that, that's fine. We've got another evaporator built. We're gonna do the advanced funnel. Injected. I haven't really gone through, that's a pending category. I haven't gone through all the different things that can be injected and what they're made from. But certainly the fungus, they all require to be made from that fungus stuff. So, yeah, because it's all bile. Sorry, it's bile. So the energy booster requires bile. I haven't gone through it. I will go through this at some point. So, internal anatomy. So, obviously, we're going back to this. So, absolute certainties. Onbu has a gallbladder. It's a singular. It produces bile. Weirdly, that can then be turned into certain types of drugs. Interesting, I guess. Onbu, heart, 1. Heart rate. Well, we're about 3.8 while walking. No, that's swimming. Hang on a second. It was greater before. Swimming again. It's now, it was 4.2. It's now 3.8. Interesting. Interesting. Let's give Onbu some noms actually. While we're gonna give you regular food for now. And we're gonna watch because it's always fun when we feed Onbu. Although we need to quickly do the scavenging party stuff. Shipwreck, please. Hang on a second. Is that 2? It is. Okay. So yeah, we've got a heart, 1, various BPM. Very slow, notice. You know, we're looking at 4.2 beats per minute. Which is interesting in a way. Oh, had another poop. Don't know how we scoop that out. I guess we've got like kind of like a dredging net type thing. Perhaps. I don't know. Oh, licky, tail curly. Nom. Nope. Delving under the water. Yeah, buddy. Yeah. Let's, that desert island's not going to get any closer anytime soon, so let's do that. So yeah, the beats are very slow, so Onbu has a very slow anatomy, very slow digestive, and very slow metabolism. Big creature. It tends to work that way in real life, not 100%, you know, but it does, there's an average. That it does tend to be large creatures have a slightly slower heart rate and small creatures have a higher heart rate. It's just one of those things. I think I remember hearing that it was a lot of that is down to heat retention and heat production. If you have a very fast metabolism, a very fast heart rate, you produce a lot more heat. Your cells' metabolism produce a lot more heat. But if you're small, your ratio of surface area to mass is such that you lose a lot of heat quickly. So if you had something the size of an elephant that had the heart rate of something like a mouse, I think it would just basically explode. It would like, maybe not explode, but it would die. It would overheat and just die almost instantly because it would retain so much heat because it's so massive. But it wouldn't be, and it would be producing too much heat. So that might be part of that process. We don't really know if Onbu has a body temperature that needs to be maintained. So who the hell knows? I don't know. Onbu itself doesn't seem to care about the temperature, the external temperature, but being as large as Onbu is, temperatures are going to be less of a problem for them, I think. Just because internally, just being able to maintain whatever temperature you've got is going to be a lot easier for it. Blood is green. We've spoken about the green blood. I know we've got a 33-minute episode, but I'm going to finish this document. So the green blood. Apparently there's in lizards, a lot of them use biliverdin or bilividin, which is like a bile pigment in certain lizards. And as we were talking about before, the New Guinean skinks. There's a type of skink in New Guinea that has green blood. It's they've evolved to tolerate it because it shouldn't be good for them, but they can tolerate because in humans it would cause serious disease. But there's no like benefit for it. Like we haven't figured it out. Why is this green blood, this bile pigment, good for you, skink? Why have you evolved like this? What is the benefit? And it may very well be that the benefit's long gone. Like it might have evolved in a time when that was beneficial, and it's now not a detriment, so it's no reason to evolve away. Evolution's like that. If there's no benefit to doing something, something will stay. Kind of a bit like my weird genetic thing. Like, my brain got wired with photic sneezing. I probably mentioned it before. So if I go from a relatively dark environment to a very relatively light environment, especially the sun, it will make me sneeze. And when I was younger, it would be like lots of sneezing, and I try to train my brain to not sneeze as much, but it's still there. But one benefit is, you know when you get that sneeze that won't quite fucking come, and it's there, and it's irritating, and you're like, and you're scrunching up your face, and it's tingly, and it just won't fucking happen, and it's like one of the most frustrating things. All I have to do is look at the light in a ceiling, even in just a normal indoor light, and that will normally trigger the sneeze, and I can get it out. That's useful. But that's to do with a wiring issue in the medulla in the brain. So basically I go from dark to light, I sneeze. There's no benefit for me having that wiring in my brain. But there's also no really big disadvantage, so why would evolution ever select to lose that weird trait? So people still get photic sneezing. They still get wired that way sometimes. I can't remember whether it's a really solid, like a familial thing, whether it's something inherited, or whether it's just one of those things that some people get it there because the DNA is in everybody, but it doesn't express itself most of the time. I don't know. But again, green blood. We don't really know what benefit that is, but it's clearly not a major problem because you can make... Talking about Onbu. You can make black pudding out of Onbu's blood, and it's harmless. It's not, well, not to Onbu, but it's harmless to us. So I don't know whether this, the green blood is green for a different reason. Maybe, maybe if you cook biliverdin, maybe biliverdin. Bi is like 2 of something. Liverdin, livers, biles. Okay, biliverdin, whatever. The point is that maybe cooking it breaks it down and makes it safe again. Also, maybe eating it doesn't hurt you anyway. Maybe just if it's in your blood, it's a problem. I don't know. But obviously, it doesn't bother Onbu. Onbu's fine with that kind of weird blood. What's the sleepiness like? Sleepiness is fine. We've got 2 sleepy islands coming up. That's good. We've got deserts. Basically, desert is the choice. But yeah, finally, oh yeah, theories, because that was the guaranteed, we know that. The injector, same location of heart, drugs injected into the heart, feeding pump we've already gone through, and then the deep quarry we already spoke about. So yeah, I've been doing some thinking and some research and stuff. So yeah, I've nerdy as anything, but I really like it. What is that? Mediums. Oh, it's a sandstorm. Well, we don't want that. Okay. Right. Well, I'm going to call the episode there. So we will find out next episode what shenanigans we're going to get up to, and whether or not we're going to go and go that way. We're going to wait a little longer. But until next time, I bid you farewell, and of course, cheerio.